What's up, guys?
We'll start with Chris right over here. Just when you were recruiting Colin Weber, I guess what kind of stood out about him on film, and what have your impressions been of him this spring?
Yeah, so on tape, you could tell Colin was really natural in the pass game. You know, you could see his basketball background out there on the football field. Has a lot of shake, you know, to be able to get open and run well. But the other thing that I was looking for, and thankfully I found it, was that willingness to be physical and to be violent. And, you know, there's some footwork things that, you know, we got to get cleaned up and things like that. But from a willingness standpoint, he's right there. So right there, I knew that we could have something with him. And you getting to talk to him, you get to talk to his family, you know, the background that he comes from, and I knew it would be a natural cultural fit for us. And then obviously we got a good football player out of it too.
Between Colin and Kenny, who showed some flashes last year before he got hurt, how confident are you in your position participating in the pass game, being catchers out of off the line, and just adding to the wide receivers?
Yeah, they both have really athletic skill sets. You know, where Kenny is he's got a ton of horsepower with the way that he runs, and he's strong, and he's physical too. You could see some of the violence show up on tape with him last year, and now a second year playing, I think he's going to become more natural at the position. Right, he's got another year of tape, another year of install, you know, a whole year of experience behind him, and then this spring, you know, has forced him to really focus because he's been there encouraging his guys. So really excited about him, and I think both of them have a skill set to be pass catchers, but I don't think it stops at them. I think you've got guys that are back. You know, Victor Konopka, who's been here for 6 years, right? And he wanted to be back and be part of this team and have a role, both run and pass game, along with the other guys like Logan, the returners, Logan and Mike. So I think we have a skill set to be able to provide that. But, you know, it starts, we got to have the ability to block first, and then obviously the passing game will open up from there.
Last year, what was it like to have to coach a position where you had so many guys go down? I mean, that's probably a first in your coaching career to have that type of situation.
Definitely was the first to that extent. Yeah, and to sweeten the pot, it was 2 guys in one game, you know, which was kind of crazy quickly. But I think it shows the maturity of guys like Mike Higgins and Logan Blake that stepped up immediately. You know what I mean? It was Kenny and Victor are out, and now it's right to Logan and Mike, and they played the game, you know, and really had no extended playing time before that. So I think it's a tribute to their preparation, the preparation that we did with them, you know, in developmental practices and all those things, all that accumulation of reps. I think it added up to, you know, them being able to go out there and play, you know, and it gave us them a spotlight, them to be able to go out there and play. So I think obviously the injuries, you never want to see it happen, but I think it provided some opportunity for guys and some insight for us as a coaching staff going into 2025.
To kind of go off that, how have those guys that got that playing time due to injuries above them, how have they kind of progressed on that opportunity and taken it this year?
Yeah, so I mean, there's really not a lot of substitute for game reps. So for a guy like Logan to go in and play as a redshirt freshman, and then to be able to go out there against USC, where one of their DNs is going to be a top-round draft pick, and he goes out there and he battles with him, and he's able to block, goes to Minnesota and plays the game that he did, and he's out in the Coliseum as a redshirt freshman. All those opportunities, I think that gives him a background going into this season. So, you know, and Mike for the same thing, for him to go out and play in Illinois and have a great catch in that game. So I just think it provided them a little bit of an opportunity. Maybe it wasn't the way that we designed it, but, you know, it happened, and now we're so much better off going forward because of it.
Staying with Logan, Scott, you know, had the injury, you mentioned him. How's he bounced back, and how's he, you know, fared coming through the spring?
Yeah, Logan's tough. I mean, he's tough, hard-nosed guy who comes from a family that's kind of made that way, and it's made him that way. So the way he's approached his rehab he killed it. I mean, every day I'd ask, he's progressing. He's ahead of schedule. He's doing great. So, you know, he's done a great job with that, and his understanding going into his third year in the offense now, I think it's going to provide more opportunity and more reps for him when you go into it and you say, hey, we have 5 guys on our roster that have started games, you know, in big-time Division I football. Not a bad situation to be in for us. Now the job's on me to continue to develop them and, you know, figure out who's at the top of the line and what role can each guy have. So.
A bit of a big picture question, but you were here when this program was rolling. You guys are now back-to-back winning seasons, back-to-back bowl appearances. Do you feel like this program is back at that point where, you know, the expectation is bowl games and winning records and back to when you were playing?
Yeah, I think it's twofold, right? Because the first part of it, you're you're at that spot again, so you're excited to be, because when we got here, that wasn't the case, right? So when Coach started this, we weren't necessarily in that situation, and now to go into this part of it where we're kind of where it was and still striving for the things that Coach talks about, still striving for conference championships and national championships and those type of achievements. So, it's never done. The CHOP mantra's real. We go out there and we say, okay, great, we went to back-to-back bowl games. It's another step in the right direction. But I think we have to, we got to remember why we all came back here. I tell recruits all the time, I came to Rutgers because Coach Schiano was the head coach that talked about winning a national championship. Why would you strive to do anything other than be the best? So I think that's kind of the mentality that I know Coach has, and obviously I think our team has it as well. They want to play on the big stages. They want to play against the best teams, and they're working that way forward in the weight room and on the practice field.
Just what have you seen from Monty Keener and his development to this point? I guess, do you think he's getting to a point where he could be a contributor?
Yeah, I think Monty's developing. He's kind of coming up on his full first year, in the program and strength and conditioning. And he's a very intelligent guy. So he's picking up the offense well. He goes in there, he does his job. And I think it's just continuing to contribute at a Big Ten level. But that's an adjustment for a lot of people. You know what I mean? I think he has really good examples in the room to be able to look at a guy like Logan who, hadn't played any snaps until he had to. Well, you got to continue to get better so that when your number's called, you're ready to go. And I think he's taking steps to do that. So.
Final question?
I asked this to a few of the position coaches already, but playing for Coach Schiano, that playing experience, how has that helped prepare you to become a coach under him?
Yeah, I think it's you understand the expectations, right? You know the culture. You know what you're looking for when you talk to potential recruits. That cultural fit is, a lot of people talk about, oh, is he a good fit? I mean, that's real here. You know what I mean? When we talk about the players that we're bringing in, they have to be the right fit, and they have to be a person that can function in the program because we ask our guys to do a lot of things. I mean, but it's for our benefit to be successful at Rutgers. So we're looking for a particular type of player, but then you understand the expectations here at practice. Coach has a high standard. Well, when you have guys that you've been through it with, like David Rowe and Charlie Noonan and Damaso Munoz and Jamal Westerman, all those guys that are here that have played, those guys, when the players go, man, this is tough. Yeah, man, we've been through it too. You know what I mean? It's not like it's something that's brand new. There's some adjustments, right? Because it's 17 years since I came out of high school, which is crazy to think about. But we've all been through it, and it's not just how hard it is, but it's also the great things too, that Coach Schiano takes care of his players, that he looks after them. I mean, they sometimes if you've only been here, you don't see each side of it where, when you've been at other places, you understand that the head coach we have is special. So I think we could provide that insight as well.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.